What's up, everybody? It's been a long time since we make an actual video on YouTube of the shop and it not just be like a montage of something. We're gonna try to give it a good try at actually recording what we do day in, day out, all the projects, step by step, how we get along. It's a lot of work to do. Shout out to all the YouTubers that do it. I mean, you guys absolutely kick ass. We're gonna give it a shot. It's gonna be hard to catch everybody up to speed on what's going on with the shop. If you follow us on other social medias, you'll be able to see very clearly. But regardless, as time passes, you guys will kind of see where the projects are at and where we're at with all of the things that we got going on, I guess. Currently, it's T-minus 5-6 days till we have to leave for Summer Trucking Nationals, and we are on the finish line of getting this Ram going. So, check it out. We did get the bed back yesterday from the second body shop. It actually looks 100 times better. The main reason that the truck is completely apart is because we're finally putting the ARB lockers in the back to work. All right, so we're inside one of our rears. This is the 14 bolt rear. If you notice, there is the seal. That is a good example. It'll be a billet piece with 2 seals in it, and then that's billet piece has some O-rings on it. The biggest thing that we've done is change the full front axle. We had to switch over to a Ford front axle. We needed to make sure that the ABS system on these brand new trucks was still functioning. Our hubs that we use in the back are completely different than the factory hubs that the Ram uses in the front, or that even the Chevy uses in the front. So we're switching over to a Dana 60 off of an F250. To make this work, we made a whole new truss, new shock extensions, which is what you see that I'm fabricating here, and all the different components that allow for this axle to be swappable and ready to go into this truck and all of the other trucks that we hope to do in the same bolt-on application. All right, so here's a perfect example of something that got changed, but not too drastically. So this is our pan hard bar or track bar bracket. I feel like an absolute retard right now, like absolutely. I've done this numerous times. I've never had this issue because I've always known that on a Dana 60, when you do a tie rod, you can't do a straight tie rod across because it hits the diff cover. Lo and behold, I didn't think of that today. So I'm here measuring my piece of DOM tubing to put my heims on and drill these out for my hang. And won't you believe it, it hits. Yo.
What up?
I fucked up.
What happened now?
The tie rod that goes from knuckle to knuckle on the Dana 60 or whatever. Completely forgot I need to bend that pipe, and I already cut it to size, and obviously that pipe doesn't work. So I have another piece of pipe here, but I have no way of bending it, and steel closes in about 10 minutes, so it's not like I'm gonna go buy new pipe. I need, yeah. You know anybody that bends pipe? Let's start with that.
Let me see. Let me call a few guys. I think I have one shop that's open right now. I can probably do it.
Is he close to you?
I gotta give him a call and see if he can do it today.
Is he close to you?
He is down the street from me.
Okay. Let me know. I'll Uber you the pipe. If he says yes, I'm gonna send you a picture of what I need. It's like 50 inches long with 220-degree bends. I'll send you a picture now.
All right, perfect.
Dale.
A few moments later.
All right, the guy says, yeah, he can do it. So just Uber me the pipe whenever you can.
Okay.
And I'll take it to him.
Dale, I'll send it now. Thank you, bro.
Okay.
Next thing we gotta do is drill these out. We use a 1-inch hame with a misalignment spacer that comes down to 3/4. This is designed with a taper. So it's smaller here and larger there. 3/4 bolt does not fit here. It somewhat fits in the bottom, but that's not the way it's supposed to do it. So what I do is that I like to ream this out to about 1 inch, well, to an inch, not about 1 inch, and then I do a couple of welds on the cast to the steel. It's not really a weld for structure, it's more just to prevent any play. Regardless, a reamed hole at 1 inch with a 1 inch DOM tubing with a 3/4 inch ID should be an exact fit to not ever have any play. But regardless, a little bit of a weld and a nice grind only makes everybody a little bit happier. So we're gonna start reaming. First, we're gonna take these dimensions so I can start cutting the pipe on the bandsaw. So to drill these knuckles out, or spindles, or whatever you want to call them, we like to use reamers. I think it's going to get you the most exact thing. Also, these reamers fly through these cast pieces. So we'll start with a 3/8 reamer, work our way up to a 1/2 inch reamer, 3/4 inch reamer, ultimately end up with a 1 inch reamer. So let's get to drilling. All right, so check it out. These are done. These are great. Got these done. Let me show you on the other side. So you see how nice and clean this is. 3/4 inch bolt. Come here. Almost hard to get in, but nothing a little bit of a tapping can do. You know, nice. It's nothing too crazy, but definitely a nice snug fit. So that's not gonna have any play there. Obviously a little bit of lube won't help when we assemble, but that's the idea. So that's what's gonna be the tie rod across, which Anthony was able to get. We got and welded it up. Let me show you real quick. Here we go, nicely bent, 20 degrees on each side. So thank you, Anthony. For those that aren't familiar with what we're doing, basically on the sides here of the diff on the carrier, we have 2 threaded pieces. This is the one from the back. You'll see this thread. And right here on the casting, there will be the same female thread of this male. And then as you spin this, this will go this way or that way, so in or out. Obviously, if I move both of them this way, this diff, the differential, the ring gear, is gonna move closer to the pinion. If I move it that way, it'll get farther away from the pinion. So on the cap that goes here, I think the best position to put the fitting for the locker is gonna be right between these 2 bolts. So we're here with the diff cover. I'm gonna drill a hole right here. Gonna tap that for a 1/4 inch NPT. Now 1/4 inch NPT. Remember when tapping NPT, it's flared, so I like to taper just a little bit the beginning before with the 1/2 inch reamer, just to get like the tap started. And then another good thing to remember when tapping this is when you're going in, do not go the full length of the threads on the tap. You want to go, you know, just before that, because that way when you come in with your male fitting on the female hole that you just made, you have a little bit of that like, I don't know what to say, like, so it butts up against it. Remember, the seals cost because of the Teflon or whatnot that you put there, since this is tapered and the fitting is also tapered. So that taper is very important, because if you have nothing for your fitting to snug up against, then you don't create a seal. Damn it, I forgot to get the cookies. So we got one cap done, we're gonna do the other one now. So everybody, this is Javi. He kind of does most of the welding around here. He's like a full-time welder all day, and then he comes in the afternoon. portion of the line off. Before we bathe everybody in silicone, we're gonna go for a little test fit of the cap. We're gonna, for the first time, try to mock up this bed. We're using these rails that are over there and some mounts that we had already fabbed and welded. So as you can see, he's drilling the pilot holes. Got one drilled there. So now we're gonna widen them with the reamers. Try to sneak into the office as often as possible because, man, it is hot. Luckily, these water fountains stay pumping. All right, so we got some pockets made with the holes drilled out. We got the rear bolts in position. So now we're gonna get a clamp over here to remove this springing action, and we're gonna place the other bolts here. So we almost got this hole blown out. We did decide that we're gonna go and blow out another cap there and get a fourth bolt in. So this will have 8 bolts holding the rail to the frame, 4 on each side. And then from there, we can finally throw this bed on there and make our mounts. So after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes that we've drilled by hand with the battery drills, and fear of not grabbing the corded drill due to like my corded drill not having a clutch, and scared of the good famous wrist or elbow ripper where the angles are quirky, you know, we got bored of it, so we went out back and finally got the mag drill out. Trying to get an AC brake, but end up getting sucked into another lesson. What are we learning here?
How to put the
Face
settings.
detection. Apparently we suck with cameras, so
We're working on it.
We're working on it here. Ugh. Man, it is hot. Gotta love Miami, baby. These water brakes clutch every time. Reason this is here, by the way, and the bed isn't straight on the frame rail, is because these are cabin chassis trucks. That's why, if you notice, all of the suspension bolts right up. We grab existing holes and actually make them bigger with the mag drill, actually, that we're about to use. So it's very important that you notice. That's why we're doing this spacing. We found that this is the exact height needed to make the body lines of the bed match perfectly with the body lines of the cab. So we're just using this rail as a resting point for those frame rails, and then we'll make the mounts that I showed you guys earlier. Those will get welded onto here. So hopefully if we can drill out these next 3 holes with the mag drill, we can throw the bed on there and bolt those on and tack them up. All right, so we finished drilling and cutting all of the pockets for these. We're tightening the last bolt over there. So it's time to get the bed on here so we can finally position these guys. Start getting the idea of what it looks like here. So here are the mounts. So we're gonna pretty much come up in here and make sure that the bed is nice and square to where it goes, and the bolt holes will go there. And that's how we will be mounting this. All right, so these brackets go here. This is what I've been talking about. So this gets bolted here. Has enough wiggle room to align the bed if need be, although I centered it pretty much dead perfect and it works nicely. So this will go here. And now this guy can get welded. right, so we got the bed up in the air again. Avi's currently burning the mounts officially into place. Still can't get over how good this bed looks. We're gonna get these bed rails removed from the frame rails. See if we can at least get them prepped and ready to get on some at least Rust-Oleum action. After the show, we'll probably take them off again and powder coat them along with like the rest of the suspension, but we gotta make the show, so we're just gonna like spray paint and do our best. All right, so we got the bed rails removed. We're gonna now clean them up with some acetone. Make sure we're ready to spray them real quick. We have a buddy, Julian, RC Truck Sales. He taught us this technique of mixing Rust-Oleum with acetone. Despite that's not what the instructions say, actually get a really nice finish. So you'll see it now. Finished these guys, gonna let them harden a little bit more overnight. We'll slam them back onto the frame rail and the bed. As you can see, I went a little heavier where the two bed floors meet. Just wanted to act like a little bit of a seam sealer, but yeah, it looks great, and the bottom also looks real good. What's up, guys? Bet is on. She looks good. She's bolted down. She's ready to go. Now we gotta make some brackets. I think we got a really good idea of where the bumper is gonna sit now. So now we can get behind it with a light and start taking some dimensions to see what type of bracket we can make to get it to fasten properly. So down in here, we're gonna see the two original bolt holes. I'll find some bolts. This already has like a welded nut onto this bumper bracket, so that's good. But clearly we can see the 4 bolts that we used for the hitch. All right, so we got all the dimensions we needed for this bumper to mount onto this chassis. So we're gonna get on the computer and we're gonna design some brackets. So we're inside now. I usually design like quick things like this outside in the computer on the toolbox, but man, it is way too hot. So any opportunity we could take to come into the AC, I grab. So got some notes here. We use SolidWorks. I have up the assembly of the hitch. There's a little discrepancy on one of the gussets there, but whatever, it is what it is. But for all other purposes, the dimensioning is just fine, so we'll work around this. Time to clean them up, and then we can weld them up. Got the brackets. Gonna try to bolt them on and test fit the bumper. Interesting situation with these tailgates. These modern trucks, or at least on the Rams, you don't have like a manual handle that'll pull two rods and then like pull on the latches on the side. You actually have like an electronic tailgate handle, and that electronic tailgate handle sends like a message to the BCM, and then it sends messages back, so whether the truck is unlocked or not. So we tried to like reverse engineer the little micro switch, and we actually were able to do like a little small workaround. So here you're gonna see that we're gonna be testing on the tailgate handle what type of power we have. We'll also test the actuators. We noticed that it has a micro switch, but the switch must have like a resistor inside, because we can't get continuity across when we press the switch as if it was a regular switch. We keep picking at it in different locations of the switch to see if we find it. We're trying to replicate one of these micro switches. So let's take away all of the resin here, and we're going to see if we can solder to the backside of the switch pre any resistor or any logic that there might be on the board. Sure enough, we'll just glue it right back together after we solder some wires. Make sure we seal it up with silicone. Cap it. We'll go for a quick test here. Hit it. So we're here kicking ass, and we needed an extra set of hands. Look who showed up.
Ass Kickers Anonymous.
This is Solomon from the Ford era. You always gotta bother him. So whenever we see him, you know who that is? That's Solomon from the Ford era, baby. I mentioned earlier that we had the truck on the lift because we were doing the lockers in the back and some seals. Well, you noticed that we drilled and tapped the holes on the cap. So now the air is going to be going into the differential via the cap. The truss prohibits us from having like a comfortable place that we can put like the bulkhead and another fitting comfortably. So we're going to put it on the cap, but remember the cap moves when you take it off and you take it on. So we want to make a provision to either hold the line and make sure that the line's not like bending and flexing right at the collar. All right, so this is the piece that has like a little tooth. This is what holds this air collar from spinning. I'll show you now. Pretty much drilled 2 holes into it, thinking I'm gonna zip tie. You see that little slot that's there? That little slot will slide into this tooth. So I'm thinking with these 2 holes, I can be able to zip tie this copper line, and that'll allow it to not flex there, and it'll flex on top of the zip tie. We should be able to put a zip tie right here, and that'll prevent it from moving back there. Tidying up the rear ends over there, and look who showed up. Gotta thank the guys over at Amani. Got these 28x16s in. Let's take a look and see what they look like. current status is rear axle done, middle axle missing the steering, center drive shaft from middle to rear, and all of the parts should be back from paint at some point later today for the front axle. Hopefully we can have that bolted on. We can bleed brakes tonight. We have 2 boggers in stock with all 6 wheels, but we sent 2 of the wheels already to go get balanced and trued because that takes a while. So we got all 6 wheels today on Tuesday. We got 2 of the 6 tires today on Tuesday, and we're gonna be in a mad dash tomorrow to get the other 4. When we get the other 4, it's gonna be showtime. So hopefully we can have the truck done and aligned by then. So we're literally slapping on tires and we can leave. Just came to Frank's, got 2 out of the 6 already at Red's. The proper way to make these Swampers ride good is truing them and then putting them on the balancer. That's gonna be the game changer. That's why these are highway ready, baby. The only guy that swears by making them highwayable. Asked him if he got them balanced to 0. He said,
I sure did.
I asked him if he trued them. He said,
We sure did.
I asked him if there's any weight concern or any issue on the highway.
Just remember, like I told you before, when I pulled up to Texas Heatway in 2005,
2005.
2005,
2005.
when a lot of the people watching this weren't even born.
I was 12.
So they were in diapers when I was doing this shit. We pulled up to Texas Heatway and everybody was like, you guys really drove those 3 Super Duties from Miami at 80 miles an hour?
On what?
On 46 Firestone Industrials.
Nobody made an aftermarket tire
It
for
didn't
anything.
exist, and we did it, and everything rode like a Cadillac. So this is not the first rodeo, dog.
So then a real tire on a real wheel that's actually designed to do that? No problem.
Of course.
Frank.
And if you break down, fuck it.
So me and Adrian had this little bet going on about how much a 28 by 16 wheel with a 28 and 44 inch bogger would weigh. Apparently we were completely off.
What do you think first?
150.
You're nowhere near that. You're at 225.
Okay, so it's Tuesday night. We got 2 wheels that Frank gave us today. We mounted them up. We're gonna stay working through the night. Tomorrow at 6 a.m. supposedly the other 4 tires are coming in a special delivery van from Atlanta. So as soon as we can get those mounted, hopefully we can do the alignment tomorrow. Hopefully we can dial in the truck tomorrow, because tomorrow night at some point we need to finish the truck because Thursday morning we need to ride out. So